Hello. Something I noticed recently is that my views and my opinions on the world and my personality in general is constantly shaping and shifting into different, more elaborated opinions and personalities. I've had a lot of views in the past that have changed, where I once thought I was dead set on that being the right thing, where I realized, no, actually, there's more to it, there's more perspective to it. One of those things that has changed for me recently is the realization that the closest friendships that I have with people are those where I truly feel seen. There's a lot of quote unquote friendships that I've had with people in the past, or groups of coworkers, group of friends, where I'm in the crowd, but I still feel very lonely. And that's one of those feelings that it consumes you, it eats you alive, because you know you're around a bunch of people, but you still feel lonely. Like, your consciousness, your being, you are surrounded, but at the same time, you still feel so isolated from the people around you and the things that you associate yourself with, and your thought patterns and the things that you think about on a day-to-day basis. You still feel so separate from those people around you. The friendships that I realize last the longest and are actually important to you are those that feel like you are seen, people that actually understand you. I've come to yet another conclusion that the best friendships are those where you genuinely feel the presence of the other person. And in this case, not only are you surrounded by them and their presence, but you are also felt. You are also seen. You see them just as much as they see you. And it's in these moments where I'm around people similar to me who have the same mindset, a growth mentality, I'm always pushing them to grow, where not only do they accept it, but they also receive it. And they push me to be a better version of myself every day. I guess basically what I'm trying to say is that the people that surround me and make me feel seen, where I'm not surrounded and still feel alone, but I'm surrounded and they see me and I see them. If you didn't realize, now we're not talking about with the eyes. It's like I go out with coworkers or friends and I realize that I am there for one specific person, and that is the only person in the room who will see me for who I am. And I'm just coming to this realization now. If you feel surrounded by a bunch of people, and whether or not you know them, if you still feel alone in that room full of people, then they're not your real friends. But if there's one or two or even three people where you genuinely feel their presence, you genuinely feel seen by them, those are your real friends. And I can't exactly describe why or how you feel seen, but it's more of an intuitive thing where you just know they see you on a deeper, more fundamental level, rather than just viewing you from the surface level. There's a different plane of consciousness and different dimension / realm of understanding who a person is. And when I see that a person sees me on that level, it's like you click. And once you click, it's pretty hard to unclick. And also, another conclusion that I've come to recently is that Us as the 1% of people, top 5% of people, we can't be complaining for having no friends. I have been complaining a lot to myself, consciously and unconsciously, that I have nobody to talk to, that I have no girlfriend, that I have no one. It's pretty much just me and my own thoughts. But the older I get, the more I realize that I have to be content with this. I have to learn to be okay with this. Although I did not ask to be lonely, what I am doing is striving to be a better person. I'm striving to make the most of my life. I'm working to live a more intentional and fulfilling life. And that's hard to come by these days. So the best thing that I can do is be grateful for the talents that I have and the inclination to be better. Accept the fact that very few people are like this and have this same inclination, and move about my life with this in mind, knowing that I will come across very few who share this same mentality and who have this same, and people who have the same goals in mind. I have to learn to be okay with that. And that is what it is. That's the way life goes when you live a life of self-betterment.